What are some examples of movie logic that don't work in real life? Every window in Paris always overlooks the Eiffel Tower. People jumping through windows, breaking them and landing on the shards but not getting a scratch. When the pressure in an engine becomes so high that the gauge itself breaks. Whenever someone is in a spacesuit, there are always lights inside the helmet to illuminate the person's face. This is, of course, so we know which character we're looking at. But in real life, having lights inside your helmet shining on your face would greatly hinder your ability to see your surroundings. It's like having the light on in your bedroom while trying to see outside in the dark. Okay, we need to hack into the Department of Defense mainframe. How long should that take? 12 hours. You have 30 seconds. Hit 3 keys. We're in. CPR equals necromancy. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Grand romantic gestures don't convince someone who's on the fence about you that you're worth it. Just that you're probably a nutcase. Knocking people out. In the movies it's a quick smack to the noggin and that person is out cold for a few minutes, hours. In real life, depending on how hard you hit someone, they can be out for a second or two. Any longer and there will be significant brain damage. Knocking them out for several hours, well, they're probably dead. Shooting a monitor to destroy a computer's hard drive. In that scene where the good guy gets completely surrounded by bad guys with guns, I understand the principle, but if those guys actually opened fire, they'd just end up shooting each other in the face. Fields of fire people. Did you want to go to dinner tomorrow? Sure, I'll see you then. See you when? People in entry-level positions having nice, spacious, roommate-free apartments in places like New York City. Trying to convince a retired guy to do one more job. If someone in a movie starts coughing, they are about to die. Classes in high school lasting only 5 minutes. Yeah, pack of smokes to the clerk. You actually have to specify a brand. Turning on the news radio at the most convenient time for the plot. Finding an easy parking spot next to the building you're going to, usually out in front. Stopping in the middle of a giant battle with people dying all around you to kiss a loved one, or hug or high five a fellow mate. If you are shy, you can change your hairdo and outfit and immediately become extroverted. Cutting my own hair in a gas station bathroom while I'm on the run, and when I leave it's salon fabulous. Police have to account for every bullet fired. Sheer amount of paperwork behind the scenes in most crime and police thriller movies would be unreal. Like 99% of car jumps are phony. Most cars would destroy the suspension or at least blow out the tires. When they show what is supposed to be a sloppy teenage rock band playing and yet everything is perfect. The drummer's keeping excellent time. The vocals and background vocals are spot on. And the guitarist is nailing perfect bends and playing at Satriani levels. Sitting in the back seat of a car and casually reaching forward to snap the neck of the person in the driver's seat. It does next to nothing if you do it like they do in movies, and it makes for a very awkward ride home. The gun that never runs out of bullets. Walking away from an explosion. Giving birth to super clean babies that look several months old, and there's no afterbirth. People holding their breath underwater for ungodly amounts of time. Flying airplanes and helicopters extremely low to the ground. There's absolutely no reason to fly a helicopter between buildings during a car chase. There is absolutely no reason to fly an airplane 200 feet above the ground when they can effectively drop bombs from miles in the air. The main character is an absolute beast in fights with common mercenaries, then suddenly loses all of their muscles in the final battle and it takes 50x longer than it should. That's not how fights work. It drives me nuts every time a movie has a scene where a person is hiding on the ceiling a few feet above someone else and they never see them. Just because the camera is angled so the audience can't see them doesn't mean a real person wouldn't notice Tom Cruise hanging from their ceiling fan. Firing up a vehicle that's been sitting for years just by adding some gas that's also been sitting for years. A person gets shot and a tiny trickle of blood comes out and they die immediately. All the massive blow-ups of cars and things that wouldn't really blow up that dramatically. Edited to add, also, when a character who never drinks or parties goes out and slams back a ton of shots and beers but doesn't get sloppy drunk. A non-drinker throwing back that much alcohol would realistically be stumbling, slurring, knocking it over and puking, not dancing sexily and with coordination. Last minute airport dashes. Not saying goodbye on the phone. The idea that we have nothing in between small rockets and ducking nukes. It like Pacific Rim or Godzilla where it's like, small missiles don't ducking hurt something, so we jump straight to nuclear options or other ridiculous ideas. When the good guy follows the bad guy in a car and the bad guy never notices even though they are the only two cars in the road. People who work in retail or as a waiter/waitress just saying cover me to their co-worker and leaving in the middle of a shift to go take care of a personal matter, catch a murderer, etc. You can't just tell a waitress to cover twice as many tables like that. It won't work. And you won't work either. Cause you'll get fired. Quickly kissing a girl as a surprise. Don't do that. When someone walks up to a character having a conversation and tells the other person, "Could you give us a minute?" and the other person walks away like it wasn't rude as duck. Wife prepares massive breakfast spread every morning. Husband grabs coffee and takes one bite of bacon before heading out the door. A car hits a pole and it ducking blows up. It might start steaming, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't blow up like a bomb. Character 1. You did a bad thing. Character 2. Wait, I can explain what happened. Character 1. Runs away like a child before an explanation can occur. Don't try to jump out of a closed window. You probably won't break it and you'll just go owie my bones. Not dying when charging into gunfire. Kissing a girl in the middle of an argument isn't romantic. Also, repeatedly pursuing a woman who rejects you isn't cute or romantic. It's creepy and scary. When there's a large crowd and they push everyone out of the way to get through. Yeah, that's not how it would go down in real life lol. When a woman gets out of bed after 6 and pulls the entire sheet off the bed to wrap around herself. How everyone has money all the time except when not having money is the reason for the character's current trouble. Like in the second season of The Punisher, this guy, Billy Russo, escapes from police custody at the hospital. Like 2 scenes later you see the guy just knocking back shots at the bar. I have a job and I still have to consider my budget if I wanna go out to the bar, and this guy just changed out of a hospital gown. If the girl says no, don't listen. Keep pestering her and hurting yourself until you hurt yourself enough that she finally gives in. That's how you earn movie love. That or share just a single scene with the girl and then after the adventure is over you can kiss out of nowhere and the movie will pretend you had a whole romantic subplot when there wasn't any. A smartphone isn't a portal into some digital universe by which you can run some terminal commands and suddenly control the orbit of a spy satellite. Edit. I think a lot of you are hung up on the fact that you can use your phone to SSH into a remote terminal, and not really picking up on the fact that the harder part is adjusting the orbit of a satellite, seeing as, you know, that's literal rocket science, and it takes more than one user to implement a change like that. In movies 6 is always perfect. I wish it was like that in the real life. You can't just pick up any phone and ask for a secure line. It don't work that way. Buying something huge, like a house or a car, as a big romantic gesture without ever discussing it with your significant other. Like no. It's not sweet that you spend tens of thousands of dollars without their input. You gotta communicate. Boo. Going for a run? Full on sprint time. I know that's minor but it bugs the crap out of me. Like, damn. Are you trying to break the record for the 400 meters? Slow the duck down. Cockies never seem to be handled by anyone. They just hop in and start it up. No foreplay ever. Pretty much just dry 6 straight off the bat. Gets the people going. Saying I love you brings a character back to life. Or some variation of it. Looking at you, The Matrix and Fast and Furious. practically anything to do with guns. How they fire, what they can fire through, their general accuracy or lack of it, bullet counts, firing through water, reloading, blowing up stuff with guns. I could go on. I'm saying this knowing that reloading the weapons they use should be assumed to happen off screen. Could you imagine movies with heavy gunfire being 30 minutes longer to watch than reload every time? This doesn't bother me, but most other attributes do. Okay, so this one's a little specific. That scene in Die Another Day where, spoilers, Halle Berry starts drowning because the room she's trapped in that's made of ice is starting to melt and fill the room. If there's enough melted ice to fill a room, then there's gotta be an opening somewhere. Ice doesn't just create water out of nowhere when it melts, disappears and, well, melts. That one has literally bothered me for years. Edit. Oh my gosh. I have never gotten 500 of anything before. Walks into small airplane. Becomes TARDIS. Full speed car chases. You die or kill someone. There's no in between. People stay in your life no matter what. I roll when someone decides to cut you out or even just not to get in touch. They're lost forever. In movies where people get stranded on islands, remote places, they never seem to lose their glasses contacts. If your ship sunk and you were washed up on an island, your glasses contacts would most likely have fallen off or have been at least damaged in the process. Stuffing a cloth in someone's mouth doesn't gag them. No, really. When tied up, they don't have to sit there and wait for their rescuer to pull it out. Edit. It completely breaks immersion when they act gagged, but could easily just spit it out. It's okay. The band heard it once, we don't need to rehearse or anything. Using force persuasion, or force push, or force lightning. Those don't work in real life. I try at least 12 times a year. Edit. Force push does work on most grocery store entry and exit doors. Waking up in the morning looking like you just came out of a makeover, like bedhead and morning breath aren't actually things that the extremely hot 20-something girl really will invest all her time and energy into fixing the horribly depressed male lead of average attractiveness. If you lie about everything for an incredibly long period of time, you cannot make up for it by suddenly telling the truth and saying I'm really sorry, my bad. You're still a huge asshole, and even though you eventually told the truth, nobody will trust you anymore. A hero fighting a group of baddies one-on-one. After about 30 seconds or so, the unequal advantage would get the best of one person. If it is a henchman, a punch to the face knocks them into a coma. If it is one of the big bads, they are barely phased. Fight scenes always involve punches to the face and torso like it's nothing. In real life, unless you're a trained boxer with conditioned knuckles and wrists, and sometimes even then, repeated punching will almost certainly result in broken knuckles. Your fist is weaker than you think, and one of the first lessons of martial arts and self-defense classes such as Krav Maga is to use palm heel or hammer fist strikes instead. They hurt the other person just as much, but definitely not you. The saying is soft on hard, or hard on soft, but never hard on hard. Women waking up with perfect hair and makeup. Running and then jumping forward to some structure, cliff, etc. without losing elevation. Cliffhanger, vertical limit, skyscraper, dart, take your pick. Love-hate relationships. The storyline where they hate each other and then suddenly realize they love each other is complete bull. In my experience, when two people hate each other, they really hate each other. Nobody talk to one another, just make stupid assumptions that could be settled with a simple conversation between the leads. Most rom-coms where the guy would be considered a creep in real life. Human centipede. They would die of sepsis and certainly wouldn't be cognitive enough to come up with an escape plan. The chick wearing a dress and high heels who can somehow beat the out of 15 armed thugs, mercenaries, murdering gangsters, and not so much as smudge her makeup. Sorry, I'm finna call bullet. 30 seconds to self-destruct. 3-minute heated conversation. 10 seconds to self-destruct. Saying a random quote and then someone else responds with who said it. When someone gets knocked out and they are out longer than a few seconds and come back perfectly fine, That's a lot of brain damage. This is my number one. As an EMT and combat medic, I can't tell you the number of times I've said while watching TV, if you hit someone in the head hard enough to render them unconscious instantly, there's a damn good chance you've killed them. Bottles are made of stronger stuff than skulls. If someone whacks you over the head with a bottle, you don't get stunned and come back angry. You wake up in an ICU recovery room with a possible traumatic brain injury. Everyone has time to meet and go out to breakfast in the morning before school work, or make a full breakfast at home. In the daylight always. They never wake up before the sun. When was the last time we saw someone charge a phone? The fuck is going on in these movies? Just watched Revenge. Woman is skewered with a tree. She then walks across a desert losing several gallons of blood. She then gets high on peyote and burns the wound shut, leaving a perfectly flat but slightly sooty abdomen with a hint of a scar where a little stake had been impaling her. Then she runs around the desert in her underwear murdering the bad guys. Getting from Burbank to downtown LA in 10 minutes. Hacking in 30 seconds. Real life hacking takes anywhere from 3-4 hours and can be somewhat boring. So to amp things up, filmmakers speed up the process to make it more action-packed. Like this scene from Swordfish. You can't shrug off a shot to the shoulder like it was a potato gun. Characters cutting the palm of their hand in a dramatic show of fidelity, courage, sacrifice, and then going about their business, holding a gun or other weapon perfectly in the injured hand, with no reference to the injury. This is especially frustrating as palm cuts hurt like hell because our hands are so sensitive and full of nerve endings. It is incredibly impractical to lacerate your palm like they do in the movies. The bad alien robot ninja or whatever is a badass and hard to kill in the middle of the movie. Then later there are thousands of them. But that's okay, they are all super easy to kill now for no reason. If you're being an asshole to everyone you meet, you're less likely to engage in a razor sharp exchange of wits than you are to just get punched in the mouth. Climbing in vents. 1. Rectangular vents are hardly used to distribute air. 2. To ensure correct pressure and distribution of air. The size gets smaller the further out. Normal in a room is between copyright 100-315 cm diameter, which means you won't manage to get inside. 3. Climbing inside would generate a lot of noise from the airflow you disrupt. 4. Dive equipment in the ducts to ensure correct pressure would make it for a short crawl even if you managed to squeeze inside. 5. Many other reasons. Sorry for bad English. It's not my first language. Ventilation engineer. Scenes where the mom makes a big ass breakfast with eggs, bacon, cereals, fruit, oatmeal, pancakes, cough, freshoj, and the kid, whom is probably named Tommy, has the duckine audacity of grabs toast, gotta go mom, see ya, runs to school bus. Honestly,